day the rift burned HFY Sci-Fi story. Before we dive in, drop a quick hi in the comments. It may seem small, but trust me, it really helps to share this story with more sci-fi fans like us. I love to see who's watching and know you're on this journey with me. Let's get started and see where this battle takes us. The void was burning. It wasn't supposed to burn. Vacuum was nothing, cold and empty. But through Captain Rourke's viewport, the stars looked blurred, smeared by the heat and debris of dying ships. Something screamed across comms, half static, half the voice of a man whose hull had just been peeled open to space. The Terran First Fleet was dying in the shadow of the rift.
Target lock on Spearhead 2 lost. Enemy jamming.
Keep firing blind. They'll close whether we see them or not. On the bridge of the TNS Resolute, Rourke's voice cut like a blade. The Resolute shuddered, inertial dampeners straining to keep the crew conscious as a Thaliri beam sliced through the flank of a sister destroyer. Plasma vented in a comet-tail spiral, then the destroyer vanished in a flower of silent fire. The Thaliri Dominion didn't waste shots. Insectoid precision. They moved as one, their fleets dancing in perfect formations like mirrored reflections of some cold alien mind. "They're reading our targeting patterns," said Lieutenant Vargas, pale as bone. "Predictive firing models. They're inside our firing loop." Rourke's jaw tightened. "Then break the loop." The order was suicide. It meant abandoning the perfectly tuned firing sequences the fleet had trained for and letting chaos into the machine. But chaos was human territory. "All ships, spiral maneuver Delta 5, randomized thrust vectors, fire control to manual." For a breath, there was hesitation. Then the fleet shattered its own formation, destroyers and cruisers spinning into wild, looping arcs, their drive trails tangling in every direction. To the Thaliri's battle AIs, it must have looked like madness. And madness couldn't be predicted. The first Thaliri wing broke under the sudden rain of human plasma bolts. Where their battle plans had been perfect, now they found themselves colliding, second-guessing, hesitating. On the enemy flagship, High Strategos Vaith's antennae curled with irritation. They are disorder, but disorder burns bright before it gutters out. Back on the Resolute, alarms screamed. "Boarding pods incoming! Multiple hull breaches on decks 9 through 12. Seal them, Marines to intercept." Rourke didn't need to give names. Every Marine on the Resolute knew their role. Sergeant Cale's boots pounded the deck as he led his squad toward breach point 12A. The air shimmered with heat from a ruptured plasma conduit. From the ragged mouth of the breach, shapes emerged, tall, armored in chitin, eyes glinting like black oil. The corridor became a killing ground. Human rifles barked, chewing into alien armor. The Thaliri surged forward regardless, silent and merciless. Cale felt the weight of his rifle kicking against his shoulder until the magazine clicked dry. Then he was in the press of bodies, driving his combat knife between chitin plates. One alien's mandibles snapped inches from his face. Another fell on him from the side, until a Marine behind him shouted, "Down!" and the corridor bloomed white with a grenade's fury. "Enemy flagship focusing all fire on us," Vargas reported. Rourke's lips thinned. "Then let's make them regret noticing." The Resolute's forward batteries flared, hurling tungsten slugs at near-relativistic velocity. The alien flagship's shields rippled, bent, then shattered. "All ships, target Vaith's vessel, bring it down." The combined fury of the First Fleet lit the darkness. The Thaliri flagship split apart, venting atmosphere and bodies into the rift's edge. For one brief, impossible moment, there was silence. Then the sensors lit up. "Captain!" Vargas's voice was barely a whisper. "Long-range contacts, multiple warp signatures, Terran design. Captain, there's 10 more fleets inbound." The Dominion forces faltered. To Rourke, it was almost imperceptible. A fractional delay in their return fire, a subtle drift in their perfect formations. The humans had shown they could kill a Strategos. Now 10 times the force had arrived. 3 hours later, the rift's edge was a graveyard. The Thaliri were in retreat, their survivors folding space and vanishing one by one. The First Fleet was crippled, but alive. Rourke stood on the bridge, watching the new arrivals slide into formation. Colossal dreadnoughts, carriers bristling with interceptors, frigates and destroyers like swarming schools of fish. Admiral Varick's voice filled the comms. We take the fight through the rift. Dominion space burns tonight. But in the quiet between orders, Rourke's mind kept circling the same thought. The Thaliari hadn't fought to the last. They'd chosen to run. That wasn't Dominion doctrine. And if they were running, what were they running from? Through the rift, human fleets surged into enemy space. The counter-offensive was a storm, systems falling in hours, not days. Dominion shipyards burned, their colonies stripped of defenses. Vaith, against all odds, lived. His shattered flagship had been found drifting. Now he watched from a medical cradle aboard a retreating cruiser, his body rebuilt with chitin grafts. His officers begged him to fall back further. "No," Vaith hissed. "They do not understand. They think they have won." He looked at the rift, its swirling light like a wound in space. And in the deepest spectrum bands, where human sensors did not yet reach, something vast was moving. 2 weeks later, Rourke stood in Dominion orbit over Calith Prime, the Terran banners flying over the alien capital. Then the alarms came. Multiple warp spikes, no match to Dominion signature. Organic mass readings off the scale. On the tactical display, new contacts unfolded into existence. Gargantuan shapes, half alive, half machine. Their hulls were grown, not built, their surfaces pulsing with bioluminescence. The comms cracked with a signal, not in Thaliari speech, but in ancient Terran dialect, older than any known record. "Children, you've come home. Humanity's strength has been tested, but the war is far from over. If you want to see where this fight goes next, hit like, comment, The Rift is watching, and don't forget to subscribe or follow so you don't miss the next story. Until next time, remember, we endure.